Kenneth Walker in his rookie season was RB16, 228 rush attempts, 1,050 yards, 9 touchdowns, 27 receptions, 35 targets, 165 yards. Thoughts on Kenneth Walker?
Kenneth Walker's a tough one for me this year, right? I was not expecting Zach Charbonnet to be drafted by Seattle. Now, when he's good, right? It was the boom place, right? He stuffed up, and then he'd break one for 45 and have a great fantasy day. But when you break it down, it was like 3.4 yards per carry. Like, he was not overly efficient in running the football, but he had enough monster plays that kind of balanced that out. You can't bank on these big gashing runs from running backs anymore, right? Like, it's hard to predict. He had some last year. He might have one or two more again this year. It's entirely plausible. But when you're looking at how the consistency of a player rolls out, I don't know that I'm going after Walker this season, guys. Like, I just think there's too many questions in what Pete Carroll wants to do there in Seattle. I think it's another situation. There's more questions than answers. And where Kenneth Walker is going, I feel like I would rather go Jones. J.K. Dobbins is a guy that I would rather have over Kenneth Walker. And I think Miles Sanders too. Like, some guys who are going just after him, I think I would like all three of those guys on my roster over Kenneth Walker, just as consistency goes.
Agree. I think he is going to be the air quotes lead back there in Seattle, because the Rashad Penny's gone. Like, he is listed number 1 on the depth chart now. There's Kenny McIntosh is in town. DJ Dallas. We'll talk about these other guys too, but how much run does that allow him? How much run does that get him? It is a tough situation. I do think, again, he finishes RB2 comfortably in RB2, but it does. There is pause.
Yeah, I mean, for as much as the narrative is that Seattle likes to run the ball and that's Pete Carroll's kind of MO, and all of this and all of that, they were 22nd in the league last year in total run plays. So there is something to be said on that one, that there may not necessarily be enough run game to go around to fully support both of these running backs. I do think that we do see these guys fully kind of cannibalize each other. Even though the fact that Carroll seemingly likes to do this, we saw this kind of similarly play out where they had a very productive back with Chris Carson. They went out and spent a first round draft capital on Rashad Penny and brought him in, and we now see back to back years where they spend a second round pick on a running back and a very highly touted kind of running back coming out of college. So I don't know that this is one of those that either one of these guys ultimately. I think Charbonnet's going late enough that you can potentially return value, but Kenneth Walker, right? And depending upon where you look at it, because you're right, Kevin, like Underdog has him going much later, but there's a lot of other kind of best ball sites out there that his overall kind of average ADP comes out to be 28. So you're talking third round type of pick there. RB11 kind of on average there. And that's way too rich for what I think Kenneth Walker is going to do, because I think we're going to see somewhat similar as far as that goes, right? Somewhere between the 200, 220 carries when it's all said and done, probably around 1,000 yards, maybe get 7-8 touchdowns on the ground. I think that some of that passing work goes to Charbonnet there. So I think that we probably see him finish in a mid RB2 territory.